Chapter 2. A New Life, a New Purpose. Within the stone-carved walls of Arranchar, the faint flicker of candlelight danced across the rich tapestries that draped the royal chamber. The air was thick with the heady scent of parchment and ink, mingling together as Caius leaned over his desk, fervently penning letters that could shape the fate of Avalorn. Each stroke of his quill echoed his determination, a vivid testament to the newfound clarity Lorien had stirred in him. As the invisible guardian, Lorien lingered in the serene atmosphere of the chamber, feeling the weight of an unseen mantle settle upon him. Though he was not bound by the flesh, the essence of responsibility surged through him with every beat of his spirit. This kingdom rested on the fragile shoulders of a child, and he was that child's only true companion. "Your Majesty," an unfamiliar voice intruded, interrupting the composed serenity of the moment. It was Lady Elowen, one of Caius's advisors, a woman gifted with both intellect and ambition. She bore a sharp tongue as well as a watchful eye, and though her intentions were often veiled, her influence stretched deep into the court's machinations. Caius straightened, the quill poised above the parchment, the moment frozen in time. "What is it, Lady Elowen?" he asked, trying to mask the apprehension beneath the surface of his youthful voice. Elowen stepped forward, her dark hair gleaming like raven feathers in the candlelight, her eyes keen as they focused on the letters scattered across the desk. "I see you are immersed in correspondence once more, an admirable endeavor, but are these messages not a distraction? You are a king, not merely a scribe." "The kingdom is on the precipice of war," Caius countered, his tone determined. "I must do something to avert the looming conflict." He felt Lorien's presence vibrate with approval, urging him forward as he faced the chess piece of his advisor, an opponent clever and composed. "Perhaps, but strength demands more than words. One must know how to wield power beyond the ink-stained page," Elowen replied, her voice a honeyed melody with undertones of steel. "There are factions within our borders eager for instability, and more than just peaceful diplomacy must be employed." Lorien sensed the tension coil in the air, the exhilarating but dangerous dance of politics unfolding like a flower, revealing its hidden thorns. He observed closely, ready to intervene should the shadows threaten to swallow Caius's resolve. He could feel the echoes of history resonating with each word exchanged in that sacred space. "But I refuse to surrender to fear." Caius's voice rose, his youthful defiance igniting a fire Lorien hadn't expected from the young king. "Manipulation should not be the foundation upon which I govern. I will break that cycle. Unpopular choices often lead to the throne being a lonely place, my young king," Elowen cautioned, her expression morphing into a subtle mask of intrigue. "Your ideals are noble, but strive for balance. Allow me to advise you, for long-term victories often necessitate short-term sacrifices." Lorien felt a surge of urgency. This was a vital moment in Caius's journey, a juncture that could define his path. "You must not yield to doubt," he whispered softly into the ether, his voice swirling like mist. "Seek allies who will embrace your vision, not those who would twist your intentions." The youth paused, caught in the web spun by the opposing forces. He took a deep breath, letting the words settle lie. Caius allowed himself a brief moment of reflection, his spirit shaken yet unwavering. "Let our banners express hope," he proposed. "Each letter can be accompanied by the fruits of our lands, symbols of our unity. I will not ask them to stand in fear of war, but to find strength in peace. This is the beginning of a new era." A glimmer sparkled in Elowen's eye. "You have ambition, perhaps even wisdom that surpasses your years, but kingdoms are not built solely upon the dreams of boys. They are forged through the trials of men. You must remember, whoever controls the narrative controls the people." "Then I will be the one to shape that narrative," Caius declared, the conviction in his voice poised to incite a story for the ages. Lorien hovered nearby, engulfed in a mixture of pride and concern. This was not just about letters or political maneuvering. The echoes of fate were spinning around them. But as Elowen nodded curtly, an unrecognizable emotion passed through her eyes, a glint that hinted at unvoiced agendas. "Very well, King Caius. We will draft these letters together, but do not be misguided. I will ensure that your vision becomes reality, but know that you will need to sacrifice your innocence to do so." With a sense of urgency pulsating through the confines of the chamber, Lorien felt a pressing need to enhance Caius's protective instincts. "Listen well, my king," he murmured, turning the current of the moment toward clarity and purpose. "Trust in your heart, but be wise in whom you place your trust." Caius, sensing the unseen, paused briefly, eyes narrowing in search of something just beyond his comprehension. "I wish to explore the castle, Lady Eowyn. Perhaps I can seek further insight. There are always winds stirring within the dark." The advisor's face tightened, a brief flicker of apprehension flickering across her features. "Caution, my lord. The less illuminated corridors hold shadows that whisper willingly." Lorien felt the energy shift in the space. This was the call of adventure that beckoned beyond the walls that held them like a cage. "Do not fear the shadows, but embrace them, for they will guide you," he urged, hoping to ignite that newfound fire within Caius, the curiosity of a boy blessed with purpose. "Then I must uncover those whispers," Caius said defiantly, his spirit ablaze with newfound resolve. "The time has come to understand what lies beyond these chambers, Lady Eowyn. There is much to be learned." As Eowyn acquiesced with a curt nod, the task at hand became clear. With the flourish of young enthusiasm, Caius rose, gathering his parchment and letters into the folds of his royal cloak. "The halls of Arranchar will tell me secrets revealed only to those who dare to listen." Lorien drifted beside him, weaving his essence closer, a subtle guide through the ancient passages that might reveal empathy to influence the hearts of men. Together, they made their way toward the grand staircase which led down into the depths of the castle. Desiring to expedite their descent, Lorien felt an undeniable urge to encourage Caius, instilling within his heart the strength required to face what lay ahead. "Venture deeply, my king, for it is in the shadows that light can truly shine," he whispered, infusing Caius with courage through the fleeting breaths of magic that floated around them. They traversed grand corridors, adorned with murals portraying the valorous deeds of kings long past, tinted in colors that seemed to pulse. Caius asked, glancing sideways at Lorien's invisible presence, aware of a power that throbbed at the center of his entire being. The drifting energy of Lorien caressed his consciousness like a soft breeze. "To the lower levels, where both secrets and shadows dwell, you will find answers that perhaps lie waiting for a courageous heart to uncover." Their steps echoed softly on the polished stone floor, the silence amplifying the tension swirling between the promise of tomorrow and the shadows lurking in the corners. Suddenly, they approached a heavy wooden door, its surface scarred but resolute, worn by time, yet sturdy enough to defend against the encroaching darkness. Caius paused, an inexplicable sense of foreboding swirling through him. "What lies beyond?" "Only one way to find out," Lorien encouraged, sensing the pulse of magic entwined in the atmosphere, thick with potential. "What you seek may rest in the heart of the unknown." Summoning his courage, Caius pushed the door open. It creaked, releasing a dim light that spilled forth from the room beyond. As he crossed the threshold, Lorien felt the air shift, thickening with the vibrations of magic, a sanguine hum echoing from the very walls. Inside was a chamber choked with dust and forgotten history, filled with shelves of tomes and scrolls. A glance revealed a large wooden table, cluttered with parchments, each teeming with the remnants of knowledge. Alchemical texts, histories of our ancestors. Caius murmured, caught in the lure of a world where he would unlock mysteries long buried. "What are they doing here?" "Hidden from unfriendly eyes?" Lorien reminded him, the weight of secrecy etched into every ethereal whisper around him. "In this chamber lies the legacy of Avalorn, igniting your spirit to become the king you were destined to be." Caius wandered deeper into the room, fingers grazing over the spines of ancient texts, each one a silent testimony to the struggles and triumphs of those who came before him. He felt a tingling sensation, an electric current as he touched an old, leather-bound tome, its title obscured by dust. As he opened the book cautiously, the fragile pages crackled in response, unleashing clouds of ancient dust that swirled around him like playful spirits. He uncovered stories spinning around alliances forged in desperation, of treaties sealed with bloodshed, memories layered thick as the stones that composed the castle. "Lessons of history are woven here," Lorien instilled, feeling the king's curiosity merge seamlessly with the gifts of knowledge. "You must absorb these truths to wield your power wisely." Caius nodded, the boyish eagerness fluttering in his heart as he studied the text, carving hope into his resolve. As he read, images danced before his mind, visions of past leaders, their choices illuminating the path he now tread. And then they emerged, a series of elegant illustrations depicting legends entwined with fierce battles and noble outcomes. But nestled within, darker shadows whispered warnings that sent chills through the very air. "Beware the creature that stalks in the night," a line read, the words palpable with foreboding. "For darkness does not always reside beyond our borders. There are dangers hidden within our very midst." Caius's breath quickened, awareness dawning like sunlight cutting through fog. "Do you sense this presence, Lorien? Is it real? Know that some shadows spring from ambition, others grow from fear," Lorien said. "Cass, your majesty," she began, her probing gaze sweeping across the chamber before settling on him. "What secrets do you seek buried within the dust?" "Secrets of the crown and lands we govern," Caius replied, determination reflecting in the vibrant blue of his eyes. "I seek knowledge, Lady Eowyn. I wish to understand our legacy and legacy's shadows." Eowyn studied the boy with quiet intensity, the flames of ambition flickering between them like the intricate candle flames. Curiosity can be a powerful ally, but it can also unleash curses best left entwined in old history. Caius squared his shoulders, feeling the pulse of destiny envelop his heart. "Then I shall embrace that power. I will not fear what the shadows may reveal." As the weight of resolve settled around them, Lorien radiated warmth, encouraging the burgeoning bond between both allies and shadows. "Embrace your journey, young king. Let knowledge be your sword and compassion your shield. Together, you shall dismantle the chains of fear." It was then that Caius felt the intricacies of purpose wind around him, a thread entwined in the energy of both Lorien and Eowyn, a pivotal moment where choices intertwined, launching them toward a destiny brimming with uncertainty, yet filled with boundless potential. As they forged ahead together into the unknown, Lorien marveled at the transformative interplay of shadows and light. The young king's journey had truly begun, and he, the guardian spirit, was prepared to illuminate every path, guide every choice, knowing that true power flourished, nestled in both trust and shadows yet to unfold. From the depths of that darkened chamber, voices roared from ages past, fueling the spirit of an invisible guardian and a young king, a collaboration born of faith, wisdom, and the promise of a brighter dawn that awaited just beyond the horizon of Avalorn. And so the echoes of time whispered onward, their journey merely one chapter of a story still yet to be written, as shadows shifted, preparing for the dance ahead.